Hello, everyone. I hope this finds you well. And this is just me doing a quick overview of our plans for in-service this Monday. Really, the focus for this in-service is around self-evaluation and all the staff taking part in that, helping us to identify where our priorities are for next year and the years to come. So it is starting to think longer term and also looking at our response to COVID-19, hopefully getting school back to normal or the new normal, and also looking at working time agreement later on. So this presentation is there for you to kind of refer back to and to look at. I'm not going to read it to you because that's one of the things I hate. So I'm just going to quickly flick through and kind of identify some of the points, and then I'm going to show you how to access the different things. Hopefully that'll be helpful. So like I said, just talked about focus of the day, quote from Higgios 4. If you're not that aware of Higgios 4, it's How Good Is Our School For? It's a document that kind of supports self-evaluation, helps us to understand where we are, what we're doing well, and what we can be doing better. So the tool we're using today is based on that, and quite heavily based on that. And I have made a few links throughout this for you to go and look at as well. So the structure, we're trying to make this as flexible as possible. We know that everyone's got their own things going on at home. You've got your own families, and it's an in-service day, so your children probably won't be having traditional work given to them like they will the rest of the time. So really for us, what was important is that we designed this in a way that it's okay if on Monday one of your children is really struggling and you spend time with them and you do this at a different time. For us, that is really okay. So as much as possible, it is flexible. To be absolutely honest with you, I'm suggesting 3 hours on the self-evaluation toolkit. As yet, I've not had the opportunity to use this with the staff. So I don't know if this will be something that will take a lot less than that or take a lot longer than that. And we might have to be responsive to that. I've put down lunch, meet, and games at that time. So even if you can't do other things, but you want to come and just say hello and speak to us, come in. I've got Pictionary lined up. I think I've got a way of doing it all together, possibly on a mobile phone or tablet, but we'll go for that. And then we've got some time looking at improvement planning and working time agreement. The plan is that I've already invited you to a Google Meet all day. So for me, the way I'm seeing that working is that we'll have that on and it'll be in the background. And it'll mean that if at any point, whilst you're looking at the evaluation, if you've got a question or something you want to share or just run through with people, you've got the chance to do that. And at the same time, if there is some people who would rather kind of do it all together at the same time and talk through it and having that chat as you go, you're more than welcome. Okay, it's about what fits with your needs. Okay, so this is a rough structure of the day. The toolkit, to be honest, what's probably more useful is that I'll just go to that in a minute and talk you through it and talk you through how to get there and what that looks like, because really with these comments, you're not going to really get it until you see it. We're using a 6-point scale. There's a link to the 6-point scale. Essentially 1 unsatisfactory, 6 excellent. And I'm very aware that for some of the criteria, it might be hard to gauge which one of those it is. And really, this is just about kind of getting a feel, a gut reaction. What are you thinking? What is it telling you just now? And then when we're looking at developments and moving forward, it's something we'll be able to go back to and to reflect on. Google Meet will be there, already discussed that. For the school improvement thinking and for where we need to go next, I've created a Jamboard, which essentially is just an open space where we can post our own little post-it notes quite easily. And it really focuses on what we think we must do next, what we should do, what we could do, and what actually our response to COVID maybe needs to look like, especially in our own context for our children and our families. And then also a space for you to put in where your priorities are, because ideally these would be marred up and matched up with what we're doing as a school. Sometimes that's not the case, but it might also be that someone's got an idea of what they'd like to do next, and actually that really interests someone else, and that's something we can do together or collaboratively and look at like that. So, and then we've got the working time agreement, and mostly for teachers. You're more than welcome, everyone else, to join in. Mel will be sharing a forum with you to look at, and we might have some discussion around that and thinking about the rest of the day, how that's impacting on where we are going forward. So I will now just talk through how to get to Tool. So I'm on Google, I'm in Chrome. I advise you using Chrome, seems to work a bit better with this. I'm going to go to the waffle in the top right hand corner, the dots, go to my drive, and then on the left hand side there, you'll see shared drives. Okay, if you don't see that, please speak to me, please let me know. And we should then have one that's primary staff. Nursery, we're going to be doing our own toolkit today, but I've already talked you through that. But hopefully that will be the same as what I'm talking through here. So it might be worthwhile still watching. Okay, so we're going to open this up and we're looking for the file that says Hagios 4 self-evaluation. And I just double click that. And I right click there and that's why that popped up. So we double click. We have an introduction that I won't bore you with just now. We've got a 6-point scale that kind of talks you through what each of these are. Not the best quality, so I'd use the link instead. We then have 2 overview pages. At the moment, these will not be working. You can see it comes up with this code to say it's not working. But essentially what they'll let us do is to easily see a kind of overview and be able to say, okay, these are our priorities. What I'm going to ask is that we focus on the number 2s to begin with, okay, just because that is really for me the bread and butter. That's what our focus mostly is on. Then look at 3, and then if there's time, we'll go back to 1. 1 is leadership, and obviously with me just starting, that might be quite difficult for you to say, and you might be able to say, well, in the past, I'd have given this a 4, a 5, a 6, a 3, a 2, or a 1. But actually, I'm not sure if that'll be the same this year. In the nicest way possible. I'm not going to take offense with that, but it might be harder to judge some of those things. So, for instance, if this was me, I would probably start with 2.3. Okay, so if we go to 2.3, you can see we've got statements, and over here we've got columns. I'm going to move myself to the top because I'm going to be in the way here otherwise. My recommendation first would be to zoom out a little bit. Okay, to do that, you can go to the top right hand corner, go to zoom, and press negative. You can press control and take away, and that'll zoom out as well. But what we have here is our criteria, and what we have is for each person, you have your own column I'm asking you to complete. I'm asking you to think about the statements and then give that a score or grading from 1 to 6. Start by thinking about yourself and your practice and your job and your role and what you do, and then maybe take a little moment to think wider, as in, is that the norm? Is that the same for everyone else, or is that different? Do you do that differently, and you wouldn't be able to judge if everyone else was the same? That might affect your scoring a little bit. So if I'm Helen, and I'm on here, our learning environment is built on positive, nurturing, appropriately challenging relationships. I might say that's a 6. And what we should see, and this is when me maybe having a video going at the same time might be an issue, that changes color, that goes to green. She'll then work her way through the statements, thinking about each one, taking a bit more time than I am, but giving that gut reaction. And what we should see is when we get to the end, that gives us an overall score for that theme. So if we learn an engagement, that's coming across as being very good. If I go a little bit left, you'll see that it's an overall score of a 5, which would be really positive. If Kat then comes on, and she might judge that to be a little bit less, what you'll see is the scores changing. So this is going to average out what the scores are and collate them all together and give us that overall scoring. Okay, so the more people who do it, the more that will tweak and change. At the moment, everyone's got a column. I've not taken a column because obviously in our current situation, I think that's probably unfair to judge. But then what we should see is if I go back along here, then now that should have a scoring. Should be in the key word. It might need everything being done for us to have a score, but that's okay. We'll hopefully get that sorted soon. All right. So I'm asking you to start with 2.3. I might quickly do this out of interest. Sorry, folks, just bear with me. Then maybe do the rest of the 2s, then go into 3, and then finally go on to 1. Whilst you're doing this, if there is anything that is what you think being quite significantly different, so say Kat here has put this as a 1 and other ones are higher, I'm asking you to leave a comment about that. So to do that, I usually just do a right click or a bunny click, 2 clicks together if you're on a Chromebook, and just go to comment. And I just want you to write something short just to say that this is the reason why. Okay, and that's not you going to be criticized or judged by that. It's just to help our understanding that when we come back to this and maybe the scores do change a little bit, why that is. Okay, so that helps us with our self-evaluation. And then once different comments are all in, we can then easily click this button up here and it'll show all the comments. So that'll help us to kind of get an overall picture of that. You don't need to do Sorry, I just slightly cut out there. You don't need to do your comments for all of them. It's only really those ones that you think particularly stand out. The other thing I would say is this isn't going to be used to scrutinize you or anything. It's just to help us get a sense of, as a school, where we are. And hopefully now that I've filled that all in, this should have changed. It hasn't. Oh, it's because it's further down, isn't it? Sure. How silly was that? So now that's changed. You can see that then once we've got them all changed, we can then see which ones actually really stand out for us, which ones maybe need to be a priority, which ones are something we need to look at, but maybe not quite yet. But that's the thinking behind this. And of course, each of these may well have different weighting, that there might be ones that we think are more important right now than other ones, especially in our current context, and that's all fine. So really, whilst you're doing this, the good things to know, saves automatically. So don't panic that, oh no, I'm done, but what do I do? It'll save all automatically. If you do make a major mistake, Control Z will undo what you've done. Or let me know, we can go back in histories and go to previous versions. So really, there's not very much you can do that will hugely damage this. So don't worry too much. What I'd ask is at the start, make sure you're in the right column. We do have Mel and Maureen, who both have the same initials, so I've put BE and BA. But really, it should just be a case of clicking on that and then just pressing down and doing your scores as you go. And hopefully, that pretty much makes sense. Again, I don't know how long this will last. This is a tool that I developed in the last year. I think we might need to take a bit longer on twos and then maybe just more the gut reaction on the other ones. But we'll see. I'm excited to see how it goes, if I'm honest. For the next activity then, again, we're in our Google Drive, and if we go to in-service day self-evaluation, we've then got the Jamboard here. So we just double click on this, it'll open up and you'll see that's the welcome note and kind of gives you a bit of explanation. You then click right to go into the next slide. So we've got the must, should, could, COVID response, personal priorities, and I've got a blank one at the end. Any other comments, go for it. So essentially, if you're using a tablet and you want to write by hand, you're more than welcome to, but I'd see us more using it with the sticky notes. So these are on the left-hand side. You'd write your idea, must, rebuild strong relationships. I'm asking that you put your initials at the end and you choose a color that's consistent across all of the boards. Okay, and that's just to help me help us kind of be able to see, okay, that's so and so very quickly. Without kind of needing to frantically go through it. We might do a little bit of rearranging based on that as well. So if I go pink, you'll see that it comes up like that, and I can drag it somewhere else if I want. That's essentially how it works. So really, we welcome all ideas. There's no wrong ideas here. We're really keen to get a sense of where everyone's thinking is and pull it all together in one place, like we normally would do in this sort of in-service day. The final thing is the form, which Mel will send out to you. But that is kind of overall view of Plan for In-Service. If you do have any questions whatsoever, I'll be on Meet, but feel free to email, to message, and give me a call if you need to as well. I'm more than happy to talk through the process of getting people on here. Hopefully it's a really worthwhile day, and hopefully it goes well. So thanks for watching the introduction. Speak to you soon. Goodbye.